welcome to my channel. It is a whip and chat. It is, sorry, I'm a bit distracted. I'm looking at my box. I was going to show you this. It's just, yeah. Okay, this is my box. This is my Christmas image, which you can see down angles. That one. So this is my Christmas tree. It's Christmas in July, or anyway, I'll go into that in a minute too. I packed this up back in December last year into an old Darn Good Yarn box. Just repurposed it, turned it inside out, and put all my Ziploc bags in there. This is my bag label that I put on the front, and this is how a Darn Good Yarn box looks when it's been turned inside out. So I am going to work on the top being the bit, I'll do work in this corner. It's pretty much black, and then there's the odd L's. So I'm going to put those in first, and I've just put the labels on. There's some dryer sheet and some of the staticky bags. I had written originally with a Sharpie on the bag, and the Sharpie has worn off, so the sticker is on it, and I think I then also put labels inside so I could identify what it was, just in case it all rubbed off or whatever. Now, to make the spout with the Ziploc bags, because it's actually quite easy to work from Ziploc bags as kits, and very useful if you get Treasure Studios art or anyone else who does their weighted bags in Ziplocs. So thumb and forefinger push, and you make a rounded funnel, and you just pour. And I'm just looking for the L's here, so it's not actually that many, so I'm not going to keep going. Alright, maybe I will get back to the beginning, and yeah. Sorry. It was something that my dad used to say to me. He said, you'd ring me and you'd launch into whatever it is you were ringing for before even saying hi. Hello! Welcome to my whip and chat. I have coffee this morning. My husband made me a tea. A couple of days ago he made me tea and put his coffee froth on the top. Well, it was just the milk froth actually. Such a letdown. I usually have a coffee on my weekends. Today is my... I don't know. Today is my Sunday, but we had the roast yesterday on Saturday. I'm all kinds of confused. Yeah. What is happening? Alright, I've just done 7 days in a row. It wasn't actually that bad. Maybe because I'd had 2 weeks and a bit off in the previous, so I wasn't completely frazzled. And I also had reasonably light duties in comparison to what it could have been. It could have been absolutely mental, and it actually wasn't, so that was okay. Although one day was mental. It was finished by the time the after hours bit, when all the rest of the office staff had kind of headed home. So that was nice, because we kind of have these like a dual shift. So you've got people will work up until 4, 5 o'clock, and then you've got the after hours person who's on for 4 or 5 hours after that on their own. So sometimes it can be absolutely bedlam, and sometimes it can be fairly decent, like I had. So yeah, always a bonus when it's quieter. And I did go to work one day, and I had one of the girls asked me if I was okay, and I went no, because I just got a reaming from a colleague, and it was just like, oh my god, why am I here? And I was really upset, and I kind of said, I did put the notes that you say I didn't. And it was just the way he addressed me, and it was just like, right. So she gave me a big hug, and it was really nice. And she actually said that I'm one of the people they look forward to working with, which was, again, something probably I needed to hear, but not that it necessarily helps me not do things that I feel like is stuffing up, but it certainly helped me feel like I was valued by someone, even if, you know, others are kind of frustrated. So yeah, there's moments like that, and it's like, oh, why am I doing what I'm doing? but I kept going. What else have I been doing? I have been parking because I'm working afternoons, we have limited free parking in our city. So I've been parking about 15 minutes walk from work. And what I will do then is on dusk, if I had the time available, I didn't one night, so I had to walk in the dark, but if I had the time available just at dusk, I would walk to the car and drive it to a car park that was closer by when my day shift colleagues had left their parking space. So I would go and park in their park. So I've effectively been walking. One of the walks to work is with my bag, which would have my lunch in it and whatever other crap a girl carries in her bag that, you know, you never know when you're going to need something, so you've always got it handy. Yeah. I'm so envious of boys who can just go out of the house with keys and a wallet and that's it. Yeah. So one of the walks is with the bag, which puts a little bit of strain on the, you know, the back, and, you know, you're not quite so comfortable. And then the other walk back in the dusk time, I don't need my bag, so I'm literally just phone, wallet, keys, and can walk. Except it's been so shagging cold. I've been, you know, gripping my monster cardigan to me to do the walk in dusk, so the arms haven't been swinging and getting the blood up and all that kind of stuff, but I've been walking, so my back is maybe it's still affected, but it seems to be a little bit happier. I'm actually not going to go there, that's over into the halfway mark. I'm looking for outlier L's, upside down of course, and I'm not seeing any, so I think we're good to go. That's the wrong one because I put it here. Alright, so yeah, that's been nice. My plan now, I need to kind of figure this one out, is the plan was to now have a half-hour walk after work, which means it's all in one go, and it means it's with the bag, so it means I really should downsize the bag and have it so that it's minimal weight at the end of the day. For me to walk half an hour and hubby then pick me up and take me home, because it's, I think it's an hour and 50 minutes to actually do the walk all the way home, so that's not going to happen. And the half hour should be effectively enough to start to improve maybe serotonin blah blah blahs. I don't know. Don't know where I'm going to head to yet. Hubby actually made a very good point. I don't actually need to walk towards home. I could walk anywhere effectively. I was kind of thinking, oh, we'll walk towards home because it makes kind of logical sense. I have worked out on Google. Oh, you nasty things. I have worked out on Google where the half hour would take me to. But I also need to be mindful to keep it fairly level, otherwise my knees won't be happy. And yeah, we'll kind of take it from there. I think I scattered more drills than I meant then. Okay. I also decided to take this kit out because what I may do is a bit of a tutorial within the video. Oh no, I won't, because I don't have my cameras set up, so I won't be doing that. Oh, I might just jabber to you guys, but yeah. Alright, let me get... These are jumpy. Alright, so what else has been going on? What else has been going on? Gosh. My nephew, no, he's not a nephew, I think he's a great nephew. My niece's son has graduated from 6th class. It's still a thing, it's a thing in Ireland. She's a teacher actually over there. But yes, it's a thing here that I never used to have. That's completely wrong. Why am I doing that? Oh my gosh. Oh, don't mind me, I need a brain reset. I woke up this morning to a barrage of messages and I was like, ooh, yes, I'll get in on that. So there's some good stuff coming. I'm probably a little bit distracted by that. Hopefully my computer will be quiet and not go absolutely mental like it had been with people responding. I don't usually keep my messages noisy once we get past the initial kind of what's happening and what the parameters are for the rules. I started a new stitch along. It's called Fantastic Fungi. I can't recall how long it is or anything. I think it might be 12 weeks. I think it's a weekly thing. And I've started stitching in glow-in-the-dark thread. That stuff's nasty. It actually is quite... the one that I have is not a very soft thread whatsoever. So yeah, that's making things interesting. DMC have got a glow-in-the-dark, but I hadn't got that in my stock. I actually bought this thing off AliExpress, thinking it would just be to accent. So this one is framing my little mushrooms, and it's been interesting. I've got one side of the diamond done, and then I think when I'm finished I may run into a problem, being that I'm out of floss, because I haven't got any of the colours. I think I've got 3 maybe of the colours that are required for this stitch along. So off to the store at some point for that. What else? This star glows in the dark, by the way. If you want to see some of the images from this, it was in the Christmas, might be in the Christmas playlist from last year. If I remember it, I will throw it up in the cards. But I started it last year when I was doing Advent stuff. There is a half drill broken. Not fun. Gosh, I'm feeling a little bit scattered today. Alright, I'm gonna take a beat. I'm gonna think about what we're gonna talk about. And I'm gonna get a bigger head with blue tack in it. Alright. Oh yeah, there was something I was gonna say. I've got to get around to recording this. We watched Artemis Fowl during the week, or the weekend. All confussed. Watched Artemis Fowl, and it's Colin Farrell, one of my Irish actors that we watch, and there was a lovely moment in it where he would say this poem, The Irish Blessing, to his son every single night. Now, okay, it was partly because there was a tradition of this, and it was for a reason, and, you know, codes and all that. Right, so Artemis Fowl, so his dad would read him this Irish blessing, which is, may the road rise up to meet you, may the wind be always at your back, may the sun shine warm upon your fields, and until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Now, I think he ended it without the religious bit, with saying, and may you always have friends or something. But it got me kind of thinking, and I will be changing my ending to incorporate that in the what I call an outro, what I suppose many video people call outros, the farewells kind of thing. Not because necessarily it's because other people have their sayings, although it is kind of nice to hear the wrap up when, you know, Stitcherista or, you know, any of my other channels, when they, you know, start doing their wrap up. I didn't have a pat saying. I, you know, don't necessarily, well, I do repeat phrases. When I say hi to people, it's always, hey. But I didn't know if I had, you know, something that I always said to people. There is something that I always used to do with my kids when they were little, and that was when I was praying with them. I would use the same kind of prayer each night, and, you know, also want to start getting into the habit of something like that with Sophie, so that she's got a definitive, it's bedtime, you little scamp, stay the hell in bed, because she is appalling for getting back out of bed, you know, multiple times after she's been tucked in, and drives me scatty, which means that she ends up staying up on the couch next to me until stupid o'clock, because I'm trying to wind down, and all she's doing is potentially winding me up, because she won't settle, and the hubby's already gone to bed, and the other kid's gone to bed, and it's just, you know, Sophie and I. And while it's nice, and sometimes I'll put a bluey on for 5 minutes and say, okay, and tuck her into bed, it's having a set routine that I would like to get back into. I had it with my other kids, and want to start having that, whether it's reading a book and you can potentially hear her in the background having her absolute meltdown because she's overtired and hungry and she's not eating what she's being given. I don't know if she's identified that there's a biscuit in her bowl. I had just pointed it out to her, but she dropped her pear and apple. She's got into the biscuits at some point. I don't know when, whether it was this morning or not. But she's opened a biscuit tub in the kitchen, and I keep finding my iPad not charging. Like, she's getting into the iPad after I put it on charge at night, so I don't know what time she's actually roaming to do that, which means that the iPad isn't fully charged for the next day, even though I'm actually finding her with it. So I don't know when she's getting it off charge, and at the moment I just have the one charging cable, so I need to get a spare. But she will watch that. She actually multitasks. She will have iView, which is a TV streaming kids programs, on there, and she'll want the TV on in the main TV, and she's got all this noise happening, and if she doesn't have the noise happening, she doesn't seem to be happy. It's like, oh god, yeah. So it's been interesting. So I've got to figure it all out, and she was coming over to my side of the bed last night, so putting her into bed, and yeah, the whole, I've got to bend over to put her back down onto her cot level, which is below my knees. I'm kind of thinking, oh, my back, please don't pop my back. That's just me. Just, it's kind of like brace, you know, and try and do all the right things as I lean over and put her in bed without, you know, throwing her onto the bed, and then getting her tucked in and having her all kind of tucked up in her blankets. It's like, oh man. So yeah, she's been interesting lately. I don't know, I haven't been looking at the Wonder Weeks to see if she's going through a thing. The Wonder Weeks actually tells you when a growth point is happening or about to happen, and usually their temperament goes way off the charts during that period, because the brain is just pinging with development and they have meltdowns. And she actually had her first lie back on the floor and thrash her feet tantrum today. She normally just lies back on the floor and just lies there, but today she actually had the legs kicking like she was swimming. I was like, wow, that's a first. So yeah, that was interesting. Yes. The joys. And then she wasn't using words to say what she wanted. She was throwing a bowl at me because she clearly wanted something to eat, and then she was having a fit because I wasn't getting the right thing, because again, she didn't tell me what she wanted. And it was only after I'd stuck a biscuit in the bottom of the bowl, which she didn't see, and chopped up an apple, she then goes, no, it's not good enough, I want a pear. And she said the word pear, and it's like, oh, far out, why didn't you say that the first time? She is a bit of a pear freak. Less so much the apples. Yeah. Contrary child. But she does like her fruit. There we going. I got wind of... I know this is a bit of a flossy kind of talk today, but anyway. I got wind of a new stitch along from Autumn Lane Stitchery. I don't know how the heck I found out about it. Somebody else had put me in touch with the group, and they put me in touch with the group, and I think it just ballooned out of there. It's like going into a rabbit hole of stitch alongs in a way. But anyway, Autumn Lane Stitchery are doing a 12-month stitch along. It's a mermaid of some kind that Aaron has designed, and I contacted or tagged Rachel, Jessie, Cal, and Heather to see if they might join in. So they've all joined in, and it's Dark Queen of the Seas, and you know, we can all stitch along at our own pace, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. The fabric for the kit has been designed by Leslie, and it's a rich blues greens kind of colour. So she's also done a bead pack and speciality silk threads, and you can order all of that from her, and then you buy the pattern from Etsy, and it's I think $30 for the year, and you get the patterns fed to you each month. The floss list comes out on the 1st of August, and the actual stitch along starts on the 1st of September. So yeah, I'm also looking forward to doing that. So that means that I've got the Cunning Cross Stitch Letters from Hogwarts on a bi-monthly release. I have the Fantastic Fungi, which is a week thing, which will be finished by Christmas. I have Peppermint Purple on a Wednesday night. And now I'm going to have the Autumn Lane Stitchery Dark Queen of the Seas thing once a month. And I have subscribed, but I haven't started the botanicals. I think because I didn't know how many little boxes it's... Okay, so the botanical series is similar to the Peppermint Purple one, which is boxes. And I hadn't worked out how many boxes were required. So there's basically... You could do a grid of 12 and have 12 flowers of the month, and then you could do another grid of 12 and it would be the 12 birth flowers of the month. So you could potentially do a 24 grid. And I haven't worked out whether I want to do the 12 or the 24, and then there's a couple of alternates as well. So I don't know how many of the alternates are extra. So I haven't worked out what fabric or anything that was going to be on, so it just kind of got put into the too hard basket to work out. Which kind of annoys me, because I want to do it. because they're really, really pretty. It's just black work, really, really simple. I could probably do a block in an hour. Yeah, they're flowers and they're pretty, and you know, it's something else. I think my big issue with not keeping up with that one is because I haven't been getting reminders, because people don't post in the group or whatever it is, or maybe it just gets hidden by the Facebook gremlins. I don't know. So I don't get reminded often enough to do it. So I, you know, with the Peppermint Purple stitched along, I get reminded every week because it releases on a Wednesday and all of that kind of thing, whereas the monthly ones are a little bit kind of, oh yeah, forgot about that one, and yeah. So it's nice kind of having the reminders, and then you've got the momentum to keep going, which I think is part and parcel really with how some of the collabs have been going with diamond painting. We've got this one being Christmas in July. I don't recall who's doing it. I don't recall the hashtags or anything like that. I just thought I'll do a round because I actually want to show technique as well with something, so I kind of thought I'll grab my round out because I can, because it's Christmas and I don't have to feel stupid taking out my Christmas tree in July to work on. So there's that, and there is also going to be a mystery crafting journey. I don't know what her full channel name is, it's changed a few times. Anyway, Rebecca Schilling, Crafting Journey with Rebecca, that kind of channel. She has a number of people in her group who have signed up to do a mystery swap. We all went to Evermoment after we were partnered up, and we picked diamond paintings for our partner in whatever corresponding size. So I think there were two sizes, one being 30 by 40 and the other one being 40 by 50, give or take. And my kit arrived from Julie last week. So I've done an unboxing, but it won't release, I don't think, until maybe next week or the week after. And what Zoe has done for us in Evermoment has been remove the thumbnail and any identifying features. So all I've got is colour, basically. And there's an awful lot of bright colours. I have no idea. And what I did when I did the unpacking, I didn't peel the cover back, so I haven't really looked at anything. It's Evermoment, so I find Evermoment is the least worrisome of the AliExpress stores for quality. You can look at the back and you can see that there's no rivers. It's perfectly laid. It's put into the tube and it's almost like don't touch. So nothing happens to it. The packing tube, as I again hilariously found out, has an end cap broken. I don't know why. It's always one end cap, but it's always one end cap that gets snapped. Ah dear. I thought for a second it wasn't broken, and then I realised that it was, and I was like, oh god, and I cracked up laughing. So there's that, and I put duct tape. I cut it all into my sections, and then I put duct tape over each section, so when my light pad does get put on, I'm seeing the barest of outline around each block, and I've got 28 blocks. I'm not going to be able to do it in 4 weeks. I think it may be a 2-month kind of project-y thing. I'm probably still not going to get it finished in 2 months. But yeah, it's a bit of fun, and yeah, just a way to, in a way, join in with some hilarity. Jennifer Roberts and Rebecca did it a couple of months ago, and Jennifer had her cat putting a stocking on across the front of the picture, and you kind of, like, it looked really weird because it was a cat's leg putting stockings on, so it was a bit weird. It looked a bit like a chicken leg at first, and she did it in funny sections that didn't flow, so it wasn't, you know, from one corner to another. It was mishmash patches, and somehow left the voyeur dude cat as the last thing to be done. So you actually didn't realize it was a cat until she got the head visible. So you could see the legs and the arms were out, you know, with the elbows out. And he was watching this girl cat put her stockings on, you know, that kind of weird picture. So that was hers, that Rebecca sent her, and she was having all sorts of fun at Jennifer's guesses and all our guesses at what it might be, and it was really, really funny. Jennifer picked for Rebecca the most bizarre horse you have ever seen. It was watermelon coloured, and it had spots on it, and it was very, very abstract. But once you got a couple of panels into it, you could actually see that it was going to be some kind of weird horse. So yeah, we all got to kind of guess that one reasonably easily. But yeah, it was still a lot of fun seeing it reveal because it was just truly bizarre. So Julie and I, when we were chatting about what we would like, I think my criteria was fun and quirky. And I've ended up with the most amazing riot of colours in this kit. So there's pinks and oranges and yellows, and it's bright as anything. I think there are 3 bags of 310 and 6 maybe of 939, and it's a 40 by 50. So it's a riot of colour. It isn't much darkness. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. Looking forward to starting it. I'm waiting on a storage kit if I can. It's got 39 colours in it, so I'm waiting on one of my new storage bags to get here. I contacted Logan Store over the weekend, I think, to say, hey, my shipping has said it's complete. I haven't received these items yet. And they go, well, it's still showing as in transit. Will you please be patient, and if you don't get it in a week, we'll give you a refund, because it was shipped over 2 months ago, so in the middle of the COVID stuff. But they still had the 60-day guarantee, so I don't want to leave it without disputing it. It's not cheap. If it doesn't arrive, I have to actually dispute it within a set time. So I don't want to lose the value that I've put into these bags. I find I've only had one box from them that I didn't like the lids on. It was a slightly different finish on the jars, and yeah, don't know why it's different, but it is. They're flat tops rather than slightly curved, and the jar doesn't seem to be quite as nice, doesn't have that nice feel. Still works perfectly well, but yeah, just a little bit different. So I'm hoping the 2 that I've got in transit are actually the nicer tops, just from a tactile point of view only. The bags I find are really good. I never remember what colour is for what kit, so I always have to open the damn things and see what kit it is storing. But yeah, that's the plan for that. What else? Oh, I got a darn good yarn box, and I thought it was my special orders that I had ordered a couple of extra things that were in the sale box. Well, they kind of were and they weren't. They weren't my orders. They were actually a gift. And then the following month I actually ordered them, not having known what the mystery gift was. So I've actually ordered a second one. So I've got one of these, which is a sea glass. This is actually a matte finish sea glass diffuser. So you put the diffuser oil on these 3 lava rocks. And the gift that I got for a 1-year subscription was actually a sheep pin. So I think what I ended up ordering was the diffuser, again, like I said, not knowing that it was a gift the previous month, and a mystery. So I could potentially end up with 2 of these little sheep or something. to try and turn into cover minders. I need to get some more magnets. I have, I think 10. It was a bit of an experiment when I ordered them. Hubby's got a whole heap of them, but he potentially has a purpose for his, so I'm not going to steal those. Oh, I think I put that in the wrong spot. Magnets. No, see, he won't let me share his magnets. Oh, tons. Dear. So yeah, and I need him to put my new light bridge up so I can start sticking my rulers down properly instead of blue tack, which Sophie keeps taking off. She's actually dropped one of my mermaids and she broke. Her tail broke off. Her body and her tail broke off. So I want to stick the ruler down, or tie it down actually, with cable ties. And then I'll have much more space, etc. to put my needle, well, not my needle minders, my cover minders all around my rainbow arch that I've got for my lights. Not that I tend to use a lot. I did actually consider using, where did you stock? Oh, nice. I did consider using a cover minder when I was putting this back, but it's kind of just sitting there nicely, so didn't need it. I did use cover minders before because they were funny angles and things like that, so they do have their moments where they do get used, but unfortunately, because I don't use them an awful lot, I've actually got a lot of them on a tin or in the tin or somewhere hidden, and I would like to actually have them where I can just pluck and use kind of behavior, as well as actually being able to see them, because they're pretty as all get out. I actually have a package from Tina Sparklers, and in that I've actually ordered some hot spotters, which is Tina's name for her cover minders. So, oh, what have you... It's got all kinds of stupid... Alright, let's fix this in a second. So I've ordered a couple of the ones that I really, really liked. And I can't remember what else I ordered. I think they were just ABs. There may be some of the newer colors, possibly the opals in there as well. So you'll get that video when I get it processed and find a week to put it into. Yeah. Now, if you are into all things floss-like, what I'm starting to do is my floss stuff predominantly on the weekend. Saturdays usually I don't have posts going up on the Sunday from my dates. Not for any particular reason, I just think giving you 7-day-a-week videos wasn't going to do any good for me, you, or anything else. It's an awful lot to watch and to catch up on, to be honest. So I try and limit it to 5, 6, which is still a lot. But right now I've got the content, so I need the days, I suppose. A lot of it is catching up with things like the Sophie and Toffee boxes, or what else am I doing? The Sophie and Toffee, the Darn Good Yarns, the knit crates, because they've all had none for quite a while, and now they're all starting to come in. The Monday slot isn't available yet because the series is still continuing on Who You Say I Am until August, which isn't that far away, but until that finishes I don't have that regular posting slot. So yeah. So I try and keep them on a kind of regular basis, which means that they actually spread out and become a more of a series. So my Diamond Art Club's release on a Thursday. Diamond Art Club unboxings. I try and keep my knitting boxes on a Tuesday, or Sophie and Toffee even on a Tuesday. You know, that kind of procedure. It's not a hard and fast rule. But I figure routine is reasonably good, and it gives me a routine as well. It lets me know, okay, I've uploaded for this and now I just need to fill in with, you know, this. So the Frivolous Fridays are a more contemporary fill-in, and the Tuesdays then are kind of the miscellaneous uploads and that kind of thing, and then the whip and chats are when you kind of, I don't know, not that you get the dirty secrets, but or the gory truth, or anything like that. I don't know. The whip and chats are just the whip and chats. Oh, not there. So I get a short week this week, back to work for 3 days, then I have the weekend off, and it's back to 5 days a week. Woohoo! Oh, we also had a fire alarm go off in the building. So I came back and everyone was standing outside, and it was like, okay. But then we got the all clear just as I arrived back, so that was nice. Otherwise I was kind of thinking, oh, I'm just going to go home. You're not meant to do that when there's fire alarm. You're meant to stay and go back in and get your name ticked off and all those kind of safety things. Oh, we did have another fire alarm go off during the day, and I was like, oh crap, now I've got to throw everything into my case so I can move offices. So that was a bit frantic. And then of course you can't lose the lift. I'm kind of thinking, oh, how am I going to do this? So one of my colleagues with a bad back as well grabs the case for me. I grab the stack of paperwork, and he carries the case down the steps and brings it to the other place that I was going to be working, which was really handy. And then I had to worry about how I was going to get back to the office afterwards, which was fine. I repacked the case with a little bit more time than there's a fire alarm going off, get out of the building. Yeah, so it wasn't too bad. But gee, fun and games. Usually we just have practices, and this thing was going off and it was like, this isn't a drill, oh far out. Yeah, it's been known for people to burn toast and set the fire alarm off. So yes, it could have been something, or it could have been nothing. Usually it's nothing. Thankfully it's actually nothing. Yeah, I can't imagine if we really had a fire. I don't know how do fires spread in a cement building? Yeah, baffles my mind. Oh, and then the other thing, we had some weird, I don't know if it was a pipe noise or what it was, but there was, if you've ever had tinnitus or tinnitus or ringing in your ears, there was this thing happening in the afternoons, and I was like, what the heck? So I started sending an email to the building, whatever, organizer of all things, and sent her an email, and I mentioned it to the girl that I share the office with, and she said, oh yeah, it's been giving me a headache, it's been going for about 3 weeks. So I put this in the email, and the person responded saying, hey, thanks for that, let us know when it happens again, because it sounds like it's intermittent, and don't ever think that you should be putting up with this sound for 3 weeks just because. you know, let us know. And I was like, yeah, of course. But I hadn't been in the office to know that this thing was going off, or to track it down and identify where it was coming from or anything else. But this other girl in the office had just put up with it. I was like, oh, that's just crazy. Similar, I suppose, to my old office space that was like working in a fridge, because, you know, I again sent the message to the maintenance coordinator, or contract coordinator. Maybe she's not. She just lets contractors know that there might be an issue. And she came up and she said, yeah, this might be an issue because of this, and, you know, ended up getting technicians in, and they started checking things. And then, of course, I moved office, so I don't know actually what's happened, but it was freezing. It was like working in a fridge, and it was the coldest office in the whole building because the heater was broken. And yeah, I think it's a little bit warmer in there. When I went in the other day, it didn't seem to be as fridge-like. It wasn't warm, but it wasn't fridge-like. So I think that's been fixed. But again, you know, people will put up with substandard working conditions. Like, it was so cold one day, I could feel this Arctic breeze billowing around my ankles. And I normally wear knee-length boots at work, you know, with stocking kind of, you know, heavy leggings on my legs. So it's not like I'm, you know, dressed lightly or anything. And this Arctic breeze was just like, okay, I'm done. And sent an email. I was like, please, can you come and check what the hell's going on here? Yeah. The quirks of an old building. So, yes. And they do tell us, you know, work health and safety, or OH&S, or whatever the hell it is. You know, if there's a problem, like there used to be carpet so badly worn that they were putting a duct tape down across it, you know, that kind of standard. They then pulled up the carpet. Some of it was not bad, but they then pulled up the carpet and put carpet tile down. So we haven't had that issue since. So that's been good. But yeah, it's just kind of like, you know, what tripping hazards are there? And we have these monthly meetings that we're reminded, you know, don't let things go unreported. Like, we had a toilet issue where the toilet, if you didn't double tap the flusher, it would just keep draining. And I reported it and nothing got done, and had a sticker on it to say, hey, you know, double tap the toilet so it stops running. But yeah, it seems to have been fixed in the meantime, thank God, because just hearing this water running constantly would drive anyone mental. So, yeah, thankfully we've got a workplace that listens if there's building issues. We actually have a book that we put in if the lights go out, you know, the globes, bulbs, whatever, if they stop working, so a contractor comes in and goes through. So yeah, little things like that all help. Actually moved into my office and somebody had taken all the lights and either turned them off, they had dead globes in them. I hate working in a dark office, but some people like it because it's, I don't know, too glary or something. I don't know, I don't get that. The joys. Oops. I think this is a 10 placer. I'll look at it in a second. Yep, it's 10. It's a nice size. I found 15s are scary. It can be quite daunting picking up 15, but if you get them lined up just right, they sit and they behave. But it is quite a long span if you're doing smaller bits. So if you're doing 4, you know, it kind of goes either side of center, quite a long way. But I find the multi-placers quite cool. These skinny ones, Star sell them. They're awesome. They really are awesome. I hate the chubbies because they usually clash with the drills on either side. Particularly, I think with the squares, they're worse. So I have now swapped out all of the chubbies for the skinnies, which is what are on all of my pens. But yeah, as I was saying, that's going to be a separate video. I know Mrs. Coffee has done one, and it's good. She didn't show the little trick that I have that I was going to show, so I think I have something to add that, you know, is different. But go check it out if you want to use multi-placers. It's pretty good. It shows you how you can do it, and to be honest, it's just about practicing. It's just about taking your time, practicing, and you know, if her techniques work for you, then go for it, and if they don't, well, you know, see if somebody else has another idea. Now, you know what I realised I haven't done? I haven't put the lightpad on. Haven't really needed it, except I struggled just then to see how many drills I had to put into the space. So I will turn it on. But yeah, don't be afraid of checking out other creators. If you don't like their style, well, you don't like their style. But if you need to learn techniques, everyone has probably got one or two videos that are technique style videos, or stuff that you can potentially learn from. And don't feel that you're being disloyal. I have a stupid amount of people that I subscribe to. I don't watch them all. But nor do I feel disloyal for watching Ella do something, or one of Gwenny, Everything Gwenny. She did some awesome videos way back. You know, just because people aren't putting out new videos doesn't mean they don't have good stuff to say. A lot of technique videos came out 2 years ago. It would pay to search in the search bar. Keywords like diamond painting, multi-placer. Learn how to use your search. I think a lot of people are a little bit computer search illiterate. I had a bit of a stoush this morning because somebody put in a group, I'm very worried about such and such. I'm praying for them, and you know, I wish they'd get in touch, kind of thing. And it's kind of like, only last week there were 2 or 3 posts of the same ilk, and the remaining admin came onto the group saying, look, this person is out of action. We don't know why. We don't have the information. Would you please all back the heck off and relax a bit? Give her space. COVID's happening. She's probably working her ass off. And, you know, let's all, you know, just do their thing. Well, I was probably a bit short with this woman first thing this morning and said, why don't you read the posts? And why don't you see that people have been posting this and we don't know where she is, and just, you know, cool your heels. Well, yeah. A couple of people have said, oh, I was being rude. And yes, I was being short, because it's just like, oh, for crying out loud, can we not just leave this bloody woman alone? If she's not responding to Facebook, it's because she's got more important things to be doing. You know, and I know people have, you know, hunted down Sherry when she went into her ghost mode and things like that. And yeah, look, as creators, we do have lives, and you know, we don't necessarily owe you the explanations if something happens. And I think some people, I don't know, they just get a bit funny, and it's just like, Stop. Yeah. Grumble, grumble. I think people need their space. People need to know that they're cared about, sure, but they sure as heck don't need people going, oh, and making all these assumptions about why they might not be doing what they're doing, or why they, you know, it's just like, oh, okay. These people have content coming out their ears. I'm sure if you missed them that much, you could go back and you could watch everything, and she'd still be back by the time you finished watching all their stuff. Yeah. Anyway, and if something important was going on, well, to be honest, it might frankly be none of your business. Especially when some of the things that they had gone through in the past was pretty serious, either for them or for their loved ones, and they don't. None of us really owe anything to strangers on the internet. As much as you like keeping in touch, and as much as we like sharing our lives, there are some things when it hits close to the bone, we're kind of going, ooh, I'm gathering the wagons on this one. And you might have to, you know, stop communicating the way the fans want you to. I don't know. I just think some attitudes are that we are beholden, or something, I don't know, that we owe something. I don't know. We do this because we have, this is an outlet. We let you into our lives as a courtesy. And there are some points in time where we might say, okay, stuff's going on that I need to take time out. And unfortunately, this group is pretty much the original poster and one admin, so it's, you know, it's a lot for one admin to be taking on without the information. Which is a bit of a shame that, yes, we aren't getting the information to say, look, the close friend has been in touch, this is what's going on, and we're going to start doing this, you know. That's where having a team of admins is really good from a group point of view. In that if one person drops off, other people can carry it for a little while. Like, for instance, Mrs. Coffee's got Minna home. Hey Minna, if you're watching. You know, she's got other moderators to moderate the group in her absence. You know, and she gets to enjoy the family time. Except she wasn't getting to enjoy the family time and people were still messaging. So, you know, family is important, and sometimes the explanations don't need to come back to the fans as such. And I don't mean to be rude in saying that, I mean to be realistic. So, you know, please don't take offence. We all have our private moments. I had a conversation with a friend during the week, you know, and she will air her dirty laundry on Facebook, rightly, wrongly, it's what she does. And then she's feeling like she's losing friends because of the dirty laundry, because her friends don't cope with it, because it's talk of suicide and people don't usually cope with talk of suicide and depression. But it's their way of reaching out, rightly, wrongly. Not necessarily right, you know, in the right arena, but it's still reaching out. And you know, so I was worried about her, and we were just talking, and you know, some things that had come up with my psychologist for treatment could be something that could help her, so giving her some resources. But again, when you've got depression, you're not necessarily in the headspace to hunt it down, to do it, all of that kind of thing. So it's not easy, and we don't know what is going on behind the doors, behind the closed cameras, behind the off, or the camera switched off, behind the closed doors, whatever the phrases are. You know, you get a glimpse of me, for instance, in my little world. You don't know what's going on down the house. You know, you don't get to know if there's washing up in the sink or if it's all been tidied. You don't get to know if I've got a sponge cake cooling in the kitchen. You know, you don't get to know if the cousins have dropped in for a barbecue, or the, you know, the grandparents have been in, and, you know, we've had birthdays, or you get to know what we show you, which is snapshots of what really goes on in people's lives. And I know most people aren't ignorant to that fact, but maybe it needs reminding every so often that, you know, it's not a Facebook life. You probably get more real stuff being said to you here than you would necessarily in Facebook, you know, because everyone's, I don't know, having a jolly old time on Facebook. You know, and they've, what's this, Marie Kondoed their house or whatever, you know, but yeah, you get a bit more kind of, you know, I'm having a pretty shitty day on YouTube because it's video, as opposed to, yeah, I'm having a shitty day, but look, here's a nice flower on Facebook or Instagram, maybe. So, you know, you get a bit more kind of reality behind the scenes here. So don't take advantage of it. You know, we let you in for a reason. I'm going to use Sherry as an example. She's using it as her method of treatment. I started this to have as kind of a diary-ish for Sophie. Because I lost my mum at a very young age, I don't know how old she's going to be when I die. So from that point of view, I kind of want to give her that legacy. Mrs. Coffee did it to keep in touch with Minna when Minna wasn't living with her. You know, other people do it for whatever other reasons that they do it, and maybe some have a plan, maybe some don't have a plan. I also had my husband encourage me to do it. He thought I had something worth saying, which goes against everything that I had heard as a kid. You know, so there's stuff going on that you don't necessarily see the ripples under the water of why we do what we do. So, yeah, some of you would kind of say, oh no, I don't have the equipment to do it. Well, boulder dash to that. Some people on here, creators, are using their phones. But you might not feel like you have a voice. You might not feel like you have something worth saying. You might not feel that you could sit and talk with a camera like you're talking with a friend on the phone for hours on end, because it's something that most girls do, or have done at some point, is, you know, sit and talk for hours. I don't know. I've come home, my husband's a talker. Yeah. So he will talk with his boyfriend for quite a lengthy conversation where they actually don't talk about anything in particular. Yeah, so this guy, he rings up and... What? No, you really don't. But he's the friend is a bit of a philosophical guy who will... yeah, I'm trying to keep it polite. He talks all sorts of bullshit. And you get to the end of the conversation going, what the fuck did we talk about? He's one of those. When he comes and visits, it's like, he'll come with a purpose, talk about everything but the purpose for hours, and then as he's leaving, I've been told, oh, that's when you find out what he's actually after. You know, yeah, he has a funny article. But, yeah, so, you know, the potential is always there to do the chin wagging. Now, depression can knock that out of you. I know when I got major depression, and I went on to pills. I started on Prozac. I'm not on them anymore, but I started on Prozac. The chatter was silenced, and the chatter in my head before that, for 30 odd years, was constant. It was noisy. I would wake up in the morning to music playing in my head. It was like waking up, radio, ping, you know, and I used to listen to music and stuff like that, but this was like, I would have songs playing, I would be, you know, talking in my head, you know, oh, what am I going to do? There was just this chatter, is all I can call it. And when I started taking the meds, I said to my GP, I said, it's really, really weird because the chatter has stopped. It's kind of like losing your sister or your best friend that you would sit on the phone with for hours and it was just radio silence. I used to actually have phone calls with my sister that were, you know, 2-3 hours long and, you know, never think about it. And wouldn't be about anything in particular. Because of the international difference, I don't have that anymore. So I don't have the, oh, went down to the shop today and, you know, saw this. You ring for something that's kind of important, so we don't ring. But I miss that chatter. So, yeah, when you have depression, you do lose the noise. And it can be a very desolate place in depression. Because you kind of feel, well, nobody's going to want to talk to me. I've got nothing in my head worth talking about anymore. And the meds just shut your brain off. And you could sit on the couch, seriously, and do nothing. And then, you know, an hour or two has passed and you're kind of going, what the hell did I do? I haven't done anything. So that then adds to the depression and the feeling of I'm not doing anything, I'm not getting anywhere. And like my friend was saying the other day, you know, she was just feeling overwhelmed because she couldn't put the dishes into the dishwasher or get the washing up done or pick up after the cats or, you know, and she was then 2-3 days in not having done it, and then she was behind with the mess. My husband's the same. The clutter is crazy. He starts a project, then gets sidetracked because he's got an acquired brain injury. He gets sidetracked and then goes, you know, oh, I need to do this to fix this. And there's a meme that I've seen on Facebook, and it's kind of like, oh, I went to do the washing, but then I found that the sink needed to be plunged, so I had to go and get the plunger. And then when I went to go and get the plunger, I had to find that there was a screw missing from the door, so I had to get the screwdriver to fix the screw in the door to get the plunger out of the room. And, you know, and then I couldn't find the screwdriver, so I had to then go down to the shop. And all of these things add, and all you were doing was one thing, and you end up getting nothing done. Yeah, and he still couldn't find the plunger. It's that kind of overwhelming, can't get anywhere, and now it's to the point where he's got, you know, I don't know how many stupid number of projects on the go, and he looks at it and he goes, Pip, I'm overwhelmed with where to start. And I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I'm kind of with you now. You know, so, yeah, we get you. If you kind of think it's just too hard. Life does feel too hard sometimes. But sometimes, I think before the chemicals change, you can kick yourself in the ass and you can, okay, I'm going to go for a walk or whatever. But once the chemicals change in depression, I think you're stuffed. You need more than just the kick up the ass. And I say that because I am hard as hell on me. And that's what really got me when I got major depression. I'm kind of thinking, how can I have major depression? I'm just going to work every day, and I, you know, would show up. I wasn't doing work very well, but I was there physically. And it was what's called high functioning major depression. And yeah, I maybe felt like because I had had 4 kids, I just felt I couldn't just lie in bed and forget about the world. As much as I wanted to hide, and as much as I would cry at the drop of a hat and go, what the hell is wrong with me? Why am I crying over this? And be completely bamboozled by my own brain process. It's such a horrible, horrible place. Because of that journey, I actually had to blog it. I blogged side effects of the drugs, how they made me feel, all of that, to try and get my head around what was going on, you know, putting these chemicals into me. When my GP said, I think you've got depression, I'm going to put you on Prozac, I burst into tears. I don't cry. And my psychologist has only seen me cry 2 or 3 times. The idea of doing EMDR scares the shit out of me. The fact that it might make me cry petrifies me. I don't know why. Probably because I've cried so much in the past that it's actually traumatic. I mean, crying is traumatic, but I've cried so much in the past to no avail that the idea of crying and the crying and not having the release is a kind of PTSD for me as well, which is why I don't cry with her. So I think the first time I cried with her, she actually went, "You don't cry. Are you okay?" You know, I had the doctor last week, kept looking into my soul. It's a little bit freaky. She kept on staring at me intently in my eyes, saying, "That's not why you're here. Why are you here? Why did you come to me?" And I'm kind of thinking, well, because I feel like I'm a complete screw up. But she said something. She actually broke eye contact. She started playing with a chart on the wall saying, "You're here and you're going to be here, you know, and you need to be there for Sophie," and blah, blah, blah. And then she proceeds to take out 2 tissues. I hadn't even started crying then. And she takes out 2 tissues and hands them to me. And I'm kind of thinking, go away. You know, but, you know, the tears did well up. And I'm kind of thinking, oh, I don't cry. Go away. I don't cry. You know, I haven't actually heard back from my results, so I'm presuming they're fine. Because she was saying, yeah, your blood results are fine. Your, you need to make changes. You need to get off statins. You look at Google, and the first thing that comes up with statins is side effects, and they're bad. And she said, and your blood results were good here. What were you doing this time last year that you weren't doing this time this year? I'm kind of thinking, maybe eating more donuts. I don't know. You know, but she said, I want you off the drugs, and I want you eating or living the way you were living that time last year. You've done it before, you can do it again. So, you know, and that's her attitude. Whereas the GP who prescribed the statins was just like, no, you need to go on statins now. And I'm kind of going, great. My other GP, who, like, I only changed because hubby's got his family practice that he's been going to. And it was just to keep things kind of consistent. But, he had the attitude of you're going to need statins if you don't do something as well. Whereas this doctor was just like, no, you're going on drugs. And I was like, okay. He said, it's already over. But then I'm of the age where heart attack and stroke is now an issue, whereas years ago it wasn't quite so much of a danger point. Now it's a danger point. So it's like, yeah, okay. But then I also have a brother who was in his 40s, and I think he had 4 stents put in, so yeah, there's family history there, I guess. Anyway, so the things that you do, and I'm out of 310. Not really, because I've got another bag, but yeah. So I will let you go. I'll wrap it up in just a minute. But ooh, what did I do? Oh, when I was doing the duct tape, I got sticky over this. I thought I had washed it though. Maybe I missed one of the blades. Washed it with metho, and it was all good. Now I'm going to try and get these into the bag. I've probably taken off the wrong corner now. Making life hard for myself, but I'm going to try and get them in the bag without spilling them everywhere. Here we go. Cool. See? Easy. And then I can use as much or as little. I may beat on doing this. I might move some cameras and try and capture some other things. Look after yourselves, and yeah, just I don't know. It's a rough time. Christmas this year is like we're in July already. Christmas this year is going to be weird for everyone. We've had a year of social distancing where you may not have seen your family and your loved ones, and you haven't been able to hug people for months. So I don't know, maybe start thinking how you can connect, reconnect if you need to reconnect. Yeah, just start kind of thinking now. Now is July, so you've got a few months. Gifts, handmade, whatever. Something that's your heart to your loved ones, maybe. Yeah. There's my parting thought. I will do my Irish blessing. You will get that at the end. I've got to find some music that I can put that with and work out an ending, and I will get cracking on that. In fact, if I don't get it done, because this video goes up tonight, well, we'll see. I would like to get it done, but I have to find the right piece of music, so we'll see how we go with that. Look after yourselves though. I will see you next week for another chat. Tomorrow is a DAC release. I think a Sophie and Toffee box went up yesterday. If you want to go check that out, it's the dip box. I'm really looking forward to getting my equipment, my silicone sheets, to be able to actually make some of the stuff. So I've got my work area protected. I'm not going to use the food stuff again that we've already got in the kitchen. So yeah, looking forward to actually getting to play with my silicone box. Not my silicone box, with my resin boxes. And there's that. No idea what's coming up on Frivolous Friday, because I haven't seen the ... and I don't know what it is sometimes until it's finished and I look at the picture and it's like, oh, and then we go from there for facts. So who knows what we're going to be talking about on Friday. There's flossy stuff on Saturday, and then we've got the Worthy series on Monday, and then I'll see you again all over again. So yes. Yeah. Alright. Bye for now. Take care of yourselves. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.